completely just blanked on how to open this podcast.
Is this a bit?
No, I was about ready. I hit play, I record. I was about ready to do my thing, and then I realized I don't know how to do the thing. I think. Hold on. Hey, everybody, and welcome to We Watch TV. It is the podcast about the TV that we watch. I am Daniel. She is Hope. This is episode 130, and finally...
Wait, were you recording a second ago?
Yes, I was.
So that was a bit. Okay.
I was not a bit. I did forget, but I just went with it. Finally, we made it out of January.
6 months later.
We've made it out of January. The snow and the ice that we picked up in January has not left us, however.
In the cold.
Cold.
Bitter, awful cold.
I have...
So cold.
Since you last spoke to everyone, just want to give everybody an update. Since we last spoke, I have become an HVAC technician. If you need any help with your heating and cooling systems at your homes, I am perfectly capable of taking care of this situation because our heat pump turned into a block of ice.
I was working overtime.
And I fixed it.
It's been like in the single digits, feels like in the negatives. So you know what the fix was, though? So on a Friday evening when I'm ready to enjoy the weekend, it's like what was the temperature outside? Maybe like 8 degrees. Yeah. Feels like lows, negatives or something with the wind chill. We had to sit here in the living room with the air conditioner running like freaks. Because for some reason, the science is if you run the air conditioner, that gets all like, because it's like an opposite thing or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
That's
to freeze
not what,
to death.
I don't think that's what fixed it. That might have been, but I'm pretty sure, because we did that twice, and the first time it didn't do anything because it was iced up.
Next time I want to put
this thing would freeze up on the equator. That's
not what the fans want. Next time when I want to put the AC on a winter's day because I just need a blast of cold air, you're going to have to let me do it since I just sit there when it was freezing.
That seems like a fair trade. I think what actually fixed it was when I got into the electrical box and shorted a couple wires out the way the internet told me to.
Don't say it's fixed yet, though. You could text the whole thing.
Knock on wood. True. But it is unfrozen at this moment, and the guy is coming to check it out in the future.
Marvin just sighed at you.
Marvin doesn't like it when we knock on wood.
He just looked up and went.
He would prefer the ghosts hear what we're saying and then get us.
But yeah, our yard is like an ice skating rink.
Yeah, and not snow. Like it was at one point snow.
We definitely got more ice than snow. Even though we had a lot of snow, more ice.
Not just that, but the last couple 3-4 days, even though it's only gotten like a high of 20, it's been sunny. And so that's melted the top layer of snow that was there. But then it gets 0 at night, and it all just freezes back over to the point where now Marvin and I, when we go out, when he needs to use the bathroom, we're just skating at this point.
I mean, you've already fallen.
I did fall, yeah.
There was one morning, and after Daniel chastises me if I'm going to go outside to be careful, so I'm still laying in bed because this is a pretty early morning before work, and I hear like a thud, like a very loud noise, and I was like, what was that? And I was like,
Mind everybody, she did not get up to check on anything. She laid down and just let that thud be.
Okay, well, we have had big chunks of ice falling off of our roof that also make loud noises. And I was like, whatever. Everything's probably okay. And then I hear, hey, I need your help. So I walk into the kitchen where they enter, and Marvin's looking at us like, food now, breakfast now. Like when you fell, he just stood over you like, get up. And my unbothered cane. So I think I fed him, and then I looked at you. Now you have a nice little Harry Potter scar on your forehead. He fell face first, guys. I don't know how you didn't break anything.
It was a controlled fall. I knew it was happening, and I had time to get my weight to go forward so I could try and catch myself. I cut my hand up pretty well.
I'm glad you didn't have your glasses on. That would have been bad.
I think I would have lost them, and I might have broke them.
And the glass could have cut you in the eye.
But I was able to catch myself with my knees.
I'm glad your teeth are intact.
My 41-year-old knees and hands took the brunt of it, which the knees were fine, despite the fact that... What did your mom ask?
I was telling my mom.
By the way, it was 0 degrees outside when all this took place, by the way.
I was telling my mom about the morning. I was like, yeah, Daniel fell this morning. She's like, oh, did he like rip up his pants? I said he had shorts on. She's like, oh. Because most people would have had pants on, and with the way you fell, like I have fallen before when I have leggings on and I've like torn my pants.
Like I understood her question. Like if I fell on my knees, like that, like I could have potentially ripped up pants, but I wasn't wearing any.
He had shorts on. It's fine. But Marvin did get his breakfast.
Yeah, I'm fine. The cuts on my hand are mostly healed up at this point, so I'm gonna catch it in the butt one of these days. Fallen. This is not the first time I've fallen on the ice.
I don't know what we would have done that day though, because we like our road blended in with our yard.
Yeah.
Like no one was getting out. Like we were stuck. Like literally like snowed in, iced in, whatever you want to call it, stuck for at least 4 to 5 days. It would
have been like one of those old-timey peasant like paintings with the peasants. You would have just had me in the bed until they could come get me.
I don't think I would. If you had broken something, I wouldn't have been able to like get like
That's
the EMS would have had to like. I don't know.
I
don't even know.
You're not moving me anywhere.
You might have just been cooked. I don't know. It was crazy. We laugh now, but it was a very jarring morning.
It was not a great way to wake up. I wasn't fully awake. It's my fault. I knew the ice was going to be in that spot specifically. The dog, of course. I'm looking at him now laying like,
unbothered king.
Unbothered on the couch. But the dog took me exactly to where the ice spot was and ran me through it. And I should have known it was going to happen. But don't worry. The nice pile of ice knives caught me.
He doesn't like this either. He likes fresh snow that he can bury his face in.
Yeah, this is not.
I would have rather gotten like more snow than this ice because thankfully things were okay. And you guys know our track record around here with like outages and stuff. When we started getting more of the ice, it started having me concerned. Give me more snow any day over ice,
Yeah, I agree with that.
Knock on wood again. I don't want to hex the whole situation.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say about this one is this has been one of the longest like sticking around on the ground, like just because of how like as soon as the storm ended, the cold blast came in, our highs since the storm last weekend have been no more than 20 and lows in the zeros.
I think
at night.
It might finally get to 30 degrees some point this week.
On
but then
Tuesday,
it's supposed to
just
snow
in time
again.
to snow more. Yeah,
it's gonna feel like a heat wave though in the 30s. But yeah, we were like literally like trapped in our home. Like there was I don't think we went anywhere until Thursday. You were able to get out to get us some Taco Bell because when you've been locked in your house, snowed in. You need the Taco Bell buffet.
Yeah, I went out Thursday because I went out at lunch. I went out like Wednesday evening.
Just to the gas station.
The gas station, but also to like drive.
To test the hill,
driveway
We're also on a hill.
Yeah.
So if you can get out sometimes, that doesn't mean you can get back up.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy though. And yeah, like last year we had a lot of snow, and there we had some blasts of cold days, but this is the longest I can remember around here of just consecutively cold, awful days. Just bone-chillingly cold, like one day after another. I'm sure like our power company give us a round of Baby Billy here.
There will come a payday. Hallelujah, what a payday. Yeah, they're making bank right now. They're loving it.
Someday.
They're loving it. We're fortunate we didn't lose power. So again, I would rather pay that high bill than deal with what other people near us have been dealing with power outages.
We were very concerned. We bought lots of snowstorm snacks.
We're almost through them.
I know. Definitely needs to go
just
to the
in time
store
for
soon.
it to snow again on Tuesday.
What
the day of this
fun.
podcast.
Yeah.
But there's been a fortunate side to all this snow and ice, and that's we have just watched a absolute crap ton of television.
Yeah.
But before we get to the TV, I guess we should start.
And it's January's finally over. I think we already mentioned
January finally over. We're happy about that. Perfect for February. We did right before we snuck in a movie before the snowstorm.
Yes.
Like we slid out to the movie theater Friday night right before the snowstorm.
Before the impending doom.
And so we got out to do that. We watched The Housemaid.
Yes.
Not The Housemaid's Tale.
The Handmaid's Tale,
which is
another show.
Which is what was in your original note.
Listen, I'm cold. I'm tired. Everything. 2026. Are we all thriving in 2026?
No.
So yeah, I was like, but that's funny because I'm like, that's what it's called. I'm like, oh no, another book series, another show. We watched The Housemaid. And it seemed like other people had our same idea. Like everyone was out like having like a last evening
It was
before we all knew we'd be trapped in our homes.
Yeah, it was busier than you would, especially because this movie's been out for a little bit.
Yeah, this movie came out I think like December 19th, like right before Christmas, and I think it actually comes out in digital like this week that you can buy like the digital downloads.
Yeah.
And I had wanted to see it, and I had finished reading the book, so I knew I wanted to go. And then I also, you know what? I wanted movie theater popcorn. Duh. Like, it's just one of my favorite things. And I knew that we were going to be, like, trapped. And, like, my cabin fever extends even more than yours just because, if you guys notice, my voice is still not great. Like, being sick for over a month, I really haven't gone to many places.
I mean, it's not like when you
like
talk
Starbucks.
about cabin fever, it's not like I go anywhere except the store occasionally.
Yeah, see, the thing is, you know that, and I saw this thing on TikTok, like, with everybody kind of, because so many parts of the country are dealing with a snowstorm and the ice and everything, and it's like, you know it's bad when introverts start getting a little like, okay, I gotta get out of the house.
I gotta go somewhere.
But I knew that, I was like, we gotta do something fun before we're gonna be trapped in here. So we saw The Housemaid. It stars Sydney Sweeney. She plays the main character of Millie. Amanda Seyfried, who plays the character of Nina. And then Brandon Sklenar. I can't pronounce his last name. He's just super hot. And he plays Andrew Winchester. And it's based on a book series, The Housemaid. The book is really, as usual, the book is better. You have not read the books, but you kind of, when I finish a book and there's no one around me to talk to about it, I'm going to like say my thoughts out loud. So you kind of had some of the twists spoiled for you a little bit just because I'd be like, oh my gosh, when I'd read the book.
Yeah, you talked to me in hostage for like 30 minutes about it after you finished.
I didn't talk to you in hostage for 30 minutes.
Yes, you do. You find me in a situation where I'm on the couch and then you just sit down and start talking and I'm not allowed to
Do you have any idea how much Star Trek I have to listen to?
You like Star Trek. Before we get into this movie, I just want to say, because you brought up that it was a book series, and so I just want to make sure that it's very clear that I made a joke at the end of the movie that you misinterpreted somehow and thought it was like a serious thing. But anyways, okay. So this whole movie takes place, and we'll talk about it here in a minute. Remember, hey, this is actually, you know what? This is a great time to remind everybody this is a spoiler podcast, and we're going to talk about spoilers about all the things that we talk about. And if you don't want to know anything about this movie or be spoiled by it, skip on to the next section. There's chapter markers. Blah 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 blah. Millie, the main character,
played by Sydney
Sweeney, turns out has killed a person in the past. Now, I don't, you can debate. I haven't read the book. The movie kind of made it seem like she was doing it to defend her friend, but then maybe got a little bit carried away with it, et cetera, et cetera. Well,
good for her.
So she ends up serving time in prison, and then she ends up offing the.
My gosh, you're just giving away the whole movie.
Yeah. I said just gave the spoiler.
But I thought we were going to talk about it. Okay.
Yeah, we are, but I'm
trying
to. I want to start at the beginning first because that's the most important part here. But
you were actually starting at the end.
The end. I meant the end.
You said the beginning.
I can't speak.
And when I'm back in Chicago.
And so she kills.
Isn't that the name of that song?
Yes. So she kills the evil husband, and then so they find a way to legally finagle it. So
wait, that is the name of that song, right?
She doesn't. End of beginning.
Okay.
So she doesn't get in jail for it, and then she ends up trying to get a job as a housemaid for another place.
Why are you telling this part first?
And the lady goes into like how her husband is terrible, and so the indication you're left with is that she's going to off this lady's
like a
husband.
vigilante.
And so then the movie, they do this, and then the movie goes to black, and then I turn over to Hope and I go, "What's her name?"
Millie.
Millie will return in Avengers Doomsday.
You didn't say in Avengers Doomsday.
Yes, I did.
Oh, I thought you just said Millie will return.
Right over your head and what I was the joke I was trying to make. And you were like, yeah, there's a sequel to this. And I was like, that's the joke I'm trying to make.
I didn't realize you said, listen, since you're going to start at the end, that
was
whole
funny to an audience of 2 people because I just rambled so much.
that whole end scene when like they dropped the credits, I was already excited because they did the Taylor Swift song, I Did Something Bad. So I was like super, that was a great transition to credits. Great. I was telling me there was another Swiftie in the audience because we were both like, woo! Did you not agree? That was just like at the end when she's like, the lady's talking to Millie and she's like, yeah. And then boom, roll credits, Taylor Swift, I Did Something Bad.
To the music.
Iconic.
'Cause
Legendary.
I was making my great joke that nobody got.
I didn't hear you say in Avengers Doomsday. I thought you just said Millie will return. I was like,
I
was like, did they really write that on the screen? I was like, there is another book, and by the way, she will return because they have confirmed that they are going to be doing the sequel
that
of the
was
movie.
the joke because in the last
it was a bad joke.
In the last couple Marvel movies, like in the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie, they were like, Star-Lord will return.
Listen.
And then in the Avengers Doomsday movies, they've been going like, Steve Rogers will return in Avengers Doomsday. So I was like, Millie will return in Avengers Doomsday because that's how they played it off.
I didn't even hear you say Doomsday. Don't interrupt me when Taylor Swift is singing.
Oh, apologies.
Okay, so flipping it around, back to the beginning.
Flip it around.
Wait, do it right now. You have to do it.
I'm not doing it.
Madam Marvel, flip it around, Wicked Witch. Oh, man.
I hate everything.
Why are you doing this? I don't even know what I'm talking about now.
Millie has been in prison. She fakes a bunch of information to get a job as a housemaid for a lady. Amanda Seyfried.
Okay. It is based on a book series, The Housemaid. There are 3 books in the series.
Oh, really? They didn't figure that out?
I'm not going to talk. Oh, my gosh. Which one of us read the books, me or you?
I feel like I did.
Anyway. Yes, it starts off, she needs employment. She is currently living in her car. She was in prison, yes, but she did get out early. I think she has like a parole officer she has to check in with. She got fired from her previous job, so she really needs work. But, when you've been in prison, not a lot of people are going to hire you. So she goes to interview for a job as a maid at the Winchester's home, which seems to be kind of, are we thinking like Long Island, maybe like slightly outside of the city?
It's like outside of New York City, but somewhere in that area.
So it's a very fancy house, and Nina Winchester, played by Amanda Seyfried, is the wife. You think that it's like this perfect, beautiful, manicured house. Everything looks nice. She has her beautiful blonde hair curled, dressed in white, dressed immaculately. And she interviews Millie, and like Millie thinks the interview went well. Millie intentionally tried to make herself look bad for the interview, like less pretty. Like she wore glasses that weren't even real, which she does that in the book, and kind of like tried to dress down a little bit. So I don't know, she wanted to make herself look smarter, like I don't know, for the role. So, but she comes out of that thinking, yeah, like I'm never gonna get this job, right? And then she does get called later by Nina Winchester. Was like, hey, we want to offer you this job. And she's like, oh, okay. And she's like, no, it is a live-in position. And Millie's like, great, because, she doesn't have a place to live.
Right.
So she's like, Nina's like, when can you start? And Millie's like, I can start today, because I think she had fallen asleep in her car.
Yeah.
And, like, the cops had come over. So she starts, she goes, things seem okay at first. Andrew, the husband who built the house, he comes home and he's like, who is this? And Nina's like, duh, it's Millie. It's the housemaid I hired. And first some like vibes are immediately off, and she's like, Millie, where are your glasses? And like she kind of asks her those questions. And then they show also where Millie's going to be living, which is up in this very teeny tiny attic with a door. Instant red flag. The door locks from the outside, not from the inside, and you can't even push the window open. Like, the whole house is super nice except for this attic. But can I just say, the attic did not look that bad in the movie compared to how it's described in the book. I pictured, like, squalor and awfulness. I'm like, they made it look very nice, in my opinion, for the movie.
Your opinions on a lot of this stuff that goes down in this later is not to be...
Oh, please. The attic looked nicer than what it was described in the book.
Okay.
Anyway, Millie has began this job, And as she's, and there's Nina. They also have a daughter, Cece, who, by the way, that little girl. Did you think she was bratty in the movie?
Not particularly. I mean,
Okay.
I feel like it's not unusual for a kid to be cautious around some random new person.
She was a
that lives in the
hell
house.
spawn in the book.
Okay.
So they definitely changed that a little bit, which I think is for the better. So the audience could have a little bit more sympathy with, what was going on. But things with Nina starts to like lose her marbles, basically, and go kind of crazy. And let's just say Amanda Seyfried is really good at playing crazy. What do you think?
Yes, very.
And Andrew, the husband, seems just like the perfect man. He was in the book. He seemed the same way. You're like, wow, why is he married to this nutcase? And like at some point, you're even like rooting for, because definitely he and Millie have like an attraction because she's been in prison. She went to prison when she was, out of boarding school in high school. So and they explain this a little bit more in the book. So she had like, experience with men, but not a lot. And it had been quite some time. And he's described as being very attractive. And they got a very attractive actor. It is concerning.
I'm right here.
Okay. I still love Chandler. It is concerning to me that this man played Atlas, the nice guy, in the It Ends With Us movie, which we won't get into the behind the stage scenes drama of that. But I was like, yeah, he's all right in that movie. And in this movie, I'm like, oh, hello. I'd be touching up my roots.
So anyways, long story short, he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
And he's he's essentially groomed women. He did it to Amanda Seyfried, and her idea to try and get out of the situation was to bring in.
Yeah, and he does have
Millie.
a fiance before Nina that we learned
Amanda
about.
Seyfried knew exactly who and what Millie's background was when she brought her in, so she targeted her to a certain extent. Now, that does make her come off really bad, but at the end, she does kind of redeem herself by not allowing her to stay in.
So just as the book does, the book you get Millie's perspective, and then you get Nina's perspective. So definitely they're building it up, and they did this both the book and the movie, that like Nina is crazy, she's unhinged. Millie starts learning that she has mental issues, all of this stuff. Meanwhile, Andrew looks perfect. At some point, Andrew and Millie can't, keep their hands to themselves, and they do hook up, and a very steamy, which not that steamy, honestly. I've heard it was, I would still call it steamy, I guess, but maybe I'm just like too into the smut. I don't know, because it was very, in my opinion, in the book and what we saw on screen, the infamous hotel scene with Sydney Sweeney.
Y'all had built that up, and
I've seen worse. The Game of Thrones is more graphic than that.
This is not my type of movie, so I was hoping that there would be some reason for me to want to go see it. But this was like you said, this was some tame stuff. Like, I've seen way more explicit stuff on TV here sitting on my couch next to you than in that theater.
I mean, it was a very hot scene. Like, they both look snatched, great bodies, great chemistry. But
you can tell Sydney just came off
filming that
boxing movie where she was in shape to be a boxer. So,
but Game of Thrones for one, I can think of way
sure.
more. And I know when I read the book and I got to the hotel scene, I was like, so I flipped the page. I was like, that was it. And then I heard that we were gonna get steamy.
The porn on your computer.
Be quiet. Don't give me a Euphoria quote. So then I kept hearing about how steamy it was in the movie, and people were like, don't bring your husbands or your boyfriends. I'm like, oh, please. I will say, though, that I noticed that after that scene, because it was everybody in that theater was part of a couple. So that was our theater was, I wouldn't say it was
got dragged
busy.
There.
So it was different couples. And after that scene, all the men got up to go to the bathroom, and no one knew each other. Daniel waited a little bit. Because I was like, wait, they're going to shift to Nina's perspective.
I knew I couldn't get up immediately after the nude scene to go to the bathroom, as if that was the thing I was waiting on the whole time as advertised.
Oh my gosh. I do like how they played Cinnamon Girl, though, for the scene with Andrew. I love that song by Lana Del Rey. Anyway, yeah, that was a really hot scene. So they hook up. Nina finds out about it because obviously the whole time, and I remember when I read the books, she had given Millie this phone because Millie didn't have a good phone. I'm like, oh, you never use the phone that your employer gives you to do stuff because there's clearly she's going to be tracking her, right?
Right.
But poor little Millie and her innocent prison murderous brain, I don't know, just didn't clock that. So they
I
have this
mean,
big explosive argument, and Millie thinks like, hey, now me and Andrew are going to be together. I have this great house. Everything's great. Nina goes away, and you're like, oh, we still have like an hour left of the movie. And in the book, you're like, we still have half the book left. So like he and Millie, like what is the thing with the plate? They changed this storyline entirely. The book, Millie had messed up some of his books. They did it for dishes in the movie, and I think that the special dishes that his mom gave made for better on screen visual than the books. And like she had accidentally broke one of the plates, and they go up, and she's like, "Oh, really? In my room in the attic? You want to do things up here?" Boom, he locks her in, and then we shift. Just like the book, you get Nina's perspective. I need to know. You kind of knew from me, right? Or did I fully tell you? Did you know that Nina wasn't actually crazy?
Yeah, I mean, part of it was because you told me.
A little bit from probably what I had said, but
just,
would you have figured it out if you didn't know?
There were enough red flags from the guy character.
Really, I was like this the whole time with him.
The moment he's like, "Let's go to that show." Like, come on.
He's just being a nice man.
Come on. No, come on.
He said she could take friends at first if she wanted. And she's like, I have no friends.
Let's play a little game.
Hey, he got two. You know what? Oh, I don't know what this says about me. He got the 2 hotel rooms. And then they pretended to each go to the different rooms. And it wasn't until she got all the texts from Nina. I wouldn't have even gone with the facade of the 2 rooms. I was like, let's go. Just kidding. No, I wouldn't have. I'm nice,
So let's
girl.
play a little game called We Get a Housemaid. And you go on one of your vacations.
I wouldn't hire a housemaid that looks like Sydney Sweeney.
Without me. And then me and the housemaid go to a movie without you while you're gone. Is that not a red flag? Okay. The silence coming from your side of this microphone tells me everything I need to know. So anyways.
You think you've seen crazy? you think you know what a bad day is?
So anyways, it all goes downhill from there. We find out that, what's her name?
Nina.
We
get her whole perspective.
Her backstory, and she's been manipulated by him and taken advantage of, and he's a real crazy person.
Yeah, he locks her in the attic, Nina, and that's another reason why she hired Millie to not only get out of the situation, but he couldn't put her up in the attic anymore. He makes her think she's insane. And the book kind of goes into that a little bit more because they didn't explain this so much in the movie, but there's one part in the book, which is really sad, where Nina started to think that she actually did like drown her daughter. Tried to drown her kid, and she actually was crazy. Like he gaslit her so much, she started to question stuff until he would lock her up in that attic again. She didn't get her roots done. I would have made sure though. I would get my, like right now I have like an inch of root overgrowth because I had to move my hair appointment from where I had COVID. And I'm like I'm like in the theater watching the movie, and I'm like, you know what? I would have gotten my roots done.
It's a privilege. It is a privilege.
It is a privilege. Daniel, it is a privilege to see movies like this with me, just so you know. But we get the whole backstory. We find out, and yeah, like you were right, like in the book kind of explained about it a little bit more. Like it wasn't great the way Nina went about it. But she does kind of have a reality check, like, oh, maybe even like her daughter in the movie is like, what if he does it to Millie too? And she's thinking that he wouldn't do it to Millie, right?
She says she can handle herself.
Yeah, which she can. So Nina gets home and accidentally this part is not in the book at all. Nina accidentally lets him out, and then the 2 of them, we have the whole chase scene. I was disappointed so basically after he traps Millie in there, she finds the pepper spray Nina had left, and that's how they trap Andrew in there. I was disappointed he only pulled out 1 tooth in the movie, because in the book, he pulls out, like, all his teeth. And in the book, spoiler alert, like, he basically dies, like, after days of being up there for starvation. And this is an example of how I think putting a book like this on the big screen makes sense to make the changes, because you're not going to have as much of the thriller if you have him go down like that. You're gonna have that thriller aspect by having him chase the ladies around the house, having him fall, and all that, like all that stuff. And then basically Nina says, all right, because Millie's like, I'm going back to prison after this, and Nina tells her to get the heck out of there. And that part kind of went down the very same way, because when you read the book and you open it up, the first chapter, you're assuming, because she's like, yeah, if I walk out of this house, I'm walking out of here in handcuffs. You always thought that was Millie's kind of inner monologue, but the whole time it was Nina's. And it turns out that the cop involved also knew Andrew because in the book it's the cop's daughter, but they changed it to sister?
Yeah.
Because female power. And we're able to get by with the two ladies because yes, he deserved it to be locked in that attic.
And that's how the movie ends with
and Nina and Cece are able to move across the country and get away, which is very nice.
You know what?
And Millie will return.
You know what? I'm going to say something
in Avengers
right here.
Doomsday.
And I agree with you that in this situation, Andrew deserved it. But we're going to talk about two pieces of media in this podcast episode where husbands are getting slain. And that's
What's
lot.
The other one?
Georgia.
And Ginny and Georgia. All those men had it coming too.
That's a lot, and I feel like I need to maybe sleep with a crowbar or something. I don't know.
Oh,
anyway, so this movie was you liked it a lot more than I did. It was fun.
Well,
it's
I also
not my
read
thing.
the book.
It's
I
not
enjoyed
up my
it.
alley at all. Yeah.
You said you liked it though.
I liked getting out of the house with you, and then I appreciate. And in hindsight, now that we've been trapped here for more than a week without really leaving, I view it with even more fondness.
I do think that
The ritual of going to the theater.
Yes. I do think that Amanda Seyfried stole the show, though. She was the best in that movie.
Yeah, she does crazy really well, and it comes off really well. So,
but then she was also able to flip it around.
And also, around. And, also, I just want to say for all the guys out there, I don't think I'm crazy when I say this.
Oh, jeez.
Maybe this is just an age thing, but she was looking.
I'm still in the room.
She was looking fine compared,
you scene, crazy.
Like the scene when she got out.
Yes.
And then she's in the hotel jumping around in her underwear. I'm like, I'll take that.
Hey, I'm in the room now too.
I still love Chandler.
Also, I wish that Enzo would have had a bigger role. He's that gardener guy, and he has a much bigger role in the books. And I felt did you even remember Enzo? He just kind of showed up every now and then.
It didn't seem like a character. It's
he and Nina hook up in the books.
The movie, that's a character that could have been cut because he did nothing.
Yeah. Anyway, if you listen to us spoil the entire plot in the movie, I'm not sorry because we gave you the warning, but it's still fun. Go watch it. Go read a book. Open a book.
Anyways, moving on to actual television, we are into the Pitt season 2.
Yes.
We're 4 episodes in at this point?
I don't know.
We binged.
I think 4 episodes.
If you listen to last week's episode, or not last week, but the last episode, we binged season 1 hard. And we did watch the first 2 episodes of season 2, but I don't think we've talked about the last 2 episodes.
So there was some stuff that I wanted to talk about because we talked about the Pitt so long that I needed to touch on briefly that I realized we forgot to say. So if you're not familiar with the Pitt, each season is 1 day in the ER. So it starts with the hour of 7 to 8. So you're supposed to believe that this is a single day. And I think they do a pretty good job for the most part. However, Daniel gets to nitpick stuff all the time. I love this show. This show could be in competition for my best thing going.
I don't get to nitpick things. It's a compulsion. It's a disease. And I fight it every day.
Anyway, Dr. McKay and her bangs in season 1, there'd be one shot, they would be in her eyes. The next shot, they'd be trimmed. Then they'd be swept to the side. Then they'd be long again in her eyes. Then they'd be trimmed. And I feel like this season, her bangs are a little different. They're just kind of side swept, one, a little bit of a side part, and then the other kind of more like a face framing instead of straight across. And I feel like that's got to be because last season there were definitely and I've seen the guy that plays Dr. Robbie talk about how he had to make sure his beard always looked the exact same in each shot because they filmed this over weeks, but it's supposed to be 1 day. And I'm like, somebody needed to put in there the bangs with Dr. McKay because they would there'd be one, she'd be with a patient, she'd turn around and her bangs would be different because you could tell they had refilmed it. And I'm pointing it out the whole time, and Daniel's looking at me. I'm like, if you get to do it with stuff, so do I. And I will notice the bangs.
Okay.
So we have, I think we did talk about the different characters. Dr. Santos, who we all disliked and now we like. Season 2, I'm already missing some of my characters. Where is Kiara? we have a new social worker person. Become very attached to Kiara. I've not seen Dr. Abbott yet. Where is Mateo? I heard Mateo and Dr. Abbott are going to show up soon. Where is my did the unbothered king with the iced coffee that he always has? Did he show up in season 2 yet?
Not yet.
One of the night shift guys.
Night shift anyway,
so. The world could be burning, and the guy he has his Dunkin's iced coffee like attached to his hand at all times. And now we have like, what else has changed? Just obviously Dr. Collins, because that actress left the show. I've already to the point where they're calling her Dr. Al.
I want to make sure this is clear, because between last episode and this episode,
I've done a 180.
There was a legitimate, like, actually like a 5-second 180, because you were anti Dr. AI.
I started to come around to her in episode 3.
3.75 episodes, and then in this 4th episode that we watched, suddenly
now I'm shipping
giving
him
it
and
to Robbie,
her and Robbie.
she's like, maybe we could discuss it over drinks.
And I was like,
work.
I clocked that. I clocked that tea. I said, it's like an enemies to lovers thing, like loathing. You know what I mean? Like an enemies to lovers thing.
The easiest way to your heart.
Yes, obviously. What is her actual name? We're all calling her Dr. AI on TikTok.
I think, or something like that. Dr. AI actually goes really well, because Al is
I think that's why they
somewhere.
did that. Because she's wanting to do that new thing where they like record, and that's how they chart. And it's already, they had one of the episodes where they were playing it back, and there was already like one word that was wrong because of the patient's accent. And I know I've been where my doctor has been like, do you care if I record you? And I'm like, oh my gosh, imagine the Appalachian dialect and some of this.
I mean,
when they use
it goes
that.
all the way back to that Nintendo Brain Age game where it wouldn't accept the word blue
from any of us in the
from
family.
Any of us, not any of us.
Blue. I don't know how I'm saying it wrong. Blue.
I
had to say, the only way I could get it to work, you had to go blue. And I'm like, who is saying that? I've never seen anybody on TV say blue.
It's blue.
How do you say blue?
Blue. Anyway.
Blue. But yeah, so I think she still is saying like check your work though, because she's coming real hard on Santos about charting.
Yeah, about charting.
Anyway, I started to like her a little bit, and I was like, I'm noticing a spark, even though Dr. Robbie's doing it with that other
the insurance lady.
I don't know, at the hospital. He just seems like he's just having a reckless time going on his motorcycle without his helmet and sus. But there was a vibe, and like when they're betting on that thing, and she's like, if I win, I can take you out for drinks. And I'm like, clock that. Dr. Whitaker. Not only did I clock his living situation in season 1, I clocked a future storyline for season 2 that I was just proved correct.
I think that was pretty easy to see as a potential in season 1. I don't think
that's interesting, because everyone online is like, oh my gosh.
Patting your back on that one.
I feel like that's more of an interesting thing than me clocking him about like living at the hospital.
No, I don't disagree with you that it's an interesting angle.
So we have that, he had that patient, that young patient who was like burned or something, and now we know that the husband did die. We kind of figured that was going to happen. But like before they had moved them out, because once they get out of the ER, we don't know what's going on with these patients until like episodes later. And there was the young wife, and she is always like, you should come to our farm, because he clearly has like farm roots or something. And I guess he's been hanging out with the wife just like I said he would. We don't know if they're like romantic or what, but I clocked that. Caught it. We're pretty sure that Santos and my favorite surgeon, Dr. Garcia, are a thing, right?
I think they've made enough commentary. Really, I enjoy the way they've done it, because it's actually been commentary between
the characters,
Garcia and Whitaker. Because
Garcia was like, yeah, he uses other people's toothbrushes sometimes. And so, why would she be near his toothbrush?
Exactly. That's how they haven't directly addressed it, but because we know Whitaker is living with Santos, then her knowing that information about Whitaker makes you go, wait a second, what's going on here? So yeah, I think that's.
I love Dr. Garcia. I know she can be mean and bratty, but she's a baddie.
Yeah, every time she shows up, it's a great time.
Cinema. I hate the new interns. We call the one guy Evil Whitaker. What?
I think you're supposed to.
Yeah, I don't mind.
And I think they're going to do a trick.
I don't mind Joy as much.
Right, but I think they're going to do the trick on you. I think that by the end of the season, they're going to turn them on you. Just like they did. Remember, you didn't like Santos in season 1, and by the end of it, you were like a stand. So
I still, Dr. Melkane is my favorite, though.
Right.
I still love her. I love her dynamic with my malpractice king, Dr. Langdon. We did get an update on the dog in the last episode that he does have the dog. Mm-hmm. There's no update on his marital status, though. I think people did
my
see that he had a
God.
ring on, but I'm thinking that there might be some rockiness there. I do. What is so funny about this show is I feel like it is a show that is attracting all different types of fans.
It really is.
And it's hilarious to me because there's sometimes part of the fun of shipping is you ship something even if you know it's never going to happen. And
like
it makes
like what's an example of that?
Oh, like Dr. Robbie and Whitaker. Like, even though I ship Dr. Robbie with Dr. AI, but
You need to quit sending me those TikTok edits because it's getting to the point where they're showing up on my For You page.
good. I do ship Mel and Langdon, though. I don't care.
You shouldn't.
I ship what's her name, the pretty girl, and Dr. Abbott.
Okay.
I ship them. They have good one, even though he hasn't showed up yet in season 2. But it's so funny because like so many people get into it, and then like there's people that are like very anti-shipping, and they're like, "This isn't the show for shipping," and they're getting so mad about it that they're like you're not a shipper, but you just find it amusing. You don't get like
I don't get mad about
you don't
it,
get
no.
like angry about it.
No, I actually admire.
It's fun.
But listen, okay.
Shipping is fun.
I admire the way they are able to do this show in its like you're basically getting a 15-hour block of time with these characters consecutively. And but they're still able to weave in information and character development about these people's lives outside the hospital, which you are never going to see.
Yeah.
But in a natural way.
They do a great job.
That makes sense, that doesn't feel like just exposition.
It's not like Stranger Things where Max gives a 15-minute speech.
And I agree with you fully, and I am honestly shocked to hear myself say this. But whenever we decide to sit down and have a conversation about the best thing going, this show is going to be in the conversation. I'm not. I think I said this last episode. I'm not a medical drama guy, but this show's got the sauce. Whatever it is,
very well written.
Whatever it is, this show has got the sauce. It's got it. And it's got me hooked.
Each episode, I want more.
And certainly, if you are somebody who does enjoy medical dramas, and you haven't watched this yet, you need to get on this. But I think just if you've got HBO Max in general and you haven't tried the Pitt out yet, you're missing out. You're missing out.
And like my favorite part of watching shows is for character development, and I was honestly concerned. When I saw how the format was, but they have found a way to do it well. And I feel like you and I were like, oh, this probably won't be our best thing going. We're obsessed with it. But it was when we were like itching to watch the next episode that we were like, maybe there's a reason why it's winning awards. And I think it also feels what a blessing it is in the year 2026 to get 15 episode seasons.
Oh, certainly. That
wow.
I pray for days like this.
Yeah.
Where I could get a 15 episodes is like if I could get a Star Trek season with 15 episodes these days.
You always have to mention Star Trek.
Gosh, what a blessing that would be.
Can I just say the one thing and I've seen some different TikToks about this because a lot of people got into it the same way we did. They were stuck in their homes. They needed something to watch. They binged the first season. And this is a very common thing. This happened with The White Lotus where you have like a show that the first season has some juice, but then the second season everyone's locked in and people sit down and they watch the episode all at once. I will say that binging it added to the element like this is really happening in one day.
It did.
And it's a little bit harder to do that with the weekly release. But on the flip side of that, some of the episodes can be very heavy and dark.
Intense, yes.
So there's that like break. Like I don't even know if we talked about it about like Dana, the charge nurse, getting punched in the face in season 1.
Yeah.
And the fallout from that. Like it just go watch The Pitt.
Yep. And before we transition to our next show, briefly, I'm just going to say I think this has probably been pitched on the internet before, but why can't we get our Star Trek medical ship show?
Why? Okay.
Wait. There are medical ships in Star Trek canon that all they do is go to different planets that are having medical emergencies.
Like a Star Trek Grey's Anatomy.
Exactly. Why can we not get that? Okay. Anyway, sorry, to delay the inevitable, the infinite march of Shondaland has brought us back.
At long last.
To Bridgerton.
A 2-year wait.
Season 4. The first 4 episodes.
And
Part 1, I guess, is what they're calling it.
Yes. Netflix, stop it with your broken up seasons. Nobody likes it.
I'm just going to say it right off the bat before we go any farther. The carriage scene in this season doesn't hold up to last season's.
Well, they only did that as a wink. They did that as Colin and Penelope are still getting down and dirty in the carriage, and they did that as because they're not the main couple this season.
I know, I understand.
I mean, they're barely the main couple in their own season, but that's neither here nor
Don't
there.
start on that. We are at 44 minutes, and we've still got a lot of stuff to talk about. So,
I wasn't even going to bring up the carriage scene.
Season 4.
You brought up the carriage scene.
Somehow. I don't know how you pulled it off. Maybe it's because my office is sitting at a frigid 50 degrees. Maybe it's because you tricked me in some other way that I'm not even aware of. You're a witch or some sort of sorceress. What did the random TikTok thing call you?
A nymph.
Never mind. Let's not go there.
Now, get your minds out of the gutter.
I ended up watching about 3.5 of the 4 episodes
of Bridgerton.
Of Bridgerton season 4.
Listen, first off, again, when you make us wait almost 2 years and you only give me 4 episodes, that's extremely annoying. I watched it all in one setting. I think I only got up to pee like one time. That was our first night of busting free out of the house, or you, and Daniel brought me home a beautiful Taco Bell spread.
We really went all out.
Ordered
we went
so many different. You getting a lot of Taco Bell when you spend like $45. I was like, I want this, I want this, I want this. Listen, the snowstorm snacks had dwindled. It's been a very stressful time. All I wanted was Taco Bell, so we got a bunch of different stuff, set it out on the counter, settled in to watch my favorite comfort show, Bridgerton. This one is based on book 3, An Offer from a Gentleman. This is Benedict's season, and off to a great start. I thought the first 4 episodes were excellent. Each book of Bridgerton kind of focuses on a romantic trope. So season 2, this was my favorite. That's the enemies to lovers. And I would always love Anthony Bridgerton. Like, you have my heart. Season 1 is like the fake dating scenario. And then book 4, which was season 3, is kind of the friends to lovers, a little bit of unrequited love. And then this one is the classic Cinderella trope. But they do it very well in the book, and I feel like they've done it very well in the show. Like, Sophie was probably... I really liked Kate from book 2 and also season 2, how they portrayed Kate in the show and the book. But when it came to the book ladies, Sophie probably was my favorite of, like, the non-Bridgerton ladies. Not only... Her story is dark and sad, but, like, she's still kind of, like... She has a little bit some sass, some spunk to her. Some sass. She's like a sassy, Cinderella, if you will. And I feel like the actress has really pulled that off. They've done a really great job of bringing Sophie to life. So, and I've seen so many people online, even people that are, not fully sold on the season, that are like, I really do like Sophie, and it makes my heart very happy because she is. And then, like, anytime she shows up in the other books, it's always fun because each book, like I said, focuses on that sibling, but you still get little sprinklings of the others in there. I think they're doing a very good job of making, at least for the main couple, the lead couple, of making the book readers happy. That pleases me because as a book reader, I think you should, like, obviously when you have a show and you have an ensemble cast, you're going to have to change some stuff.
Right.
To make it a show. But seasons 1 and 2 were able to accomplish that by still having your side characters, but the main focus are those scenes on that main couple. And while I do like season 3, I mean, I've watched it like 50 times.
Well, this is what warp. I don't want to. I was going to let you finish. This is what warps my mind when it comes to the popularity of this show between season 1, 2, and 3. Is that, like, when season 2 came out until season 3 came out, I would randomly find you just watching season 2.
Yes.
And then when season 3 came
Correct.
out, I would come in and just randomly find you watching season 3. And so I don't understand, from my perspective, outside of the Bridgerton verse, was season 3 criticized for not being as good as the others, or...
Some people, yes.
Okay.
And it's because in my complaints about season 3, which I was getting into, is that Colin and Penelope felt like side characters in their love story. Like, I saw, like, more like we had like 5 minutes of Benedict and his 3-way. We had such focus on, like, the Mondriches, which they're not even in the books. It's fine. I enjoy their characters in the show, but they took up a lot of screen time from that main couple. The way, I think because season 3, there was the whole Whistledown reveal with Penelope, right, they decided to kind of zero in on that a little bit more than they did the actual couple. And that was a little disappointing, I think, to a lot of us, especially for those back half of the episodes of season 3. I still really liked season 3. honestly, when I look back, like my least favorite book, well, not my least favorite, but it's definitely not in my top of the Bridgerton books. It's season 1. Well, I loved season 1 in the show, and that I watched season 1 before I read all the other Bridgerton books, and it got me into it. I would say like that, like I still actually like 3 better than season 1, but I wished that Colin and Penelope could have gotten the same focus that Simon and Daphne did. We still got to, with Simon and Daphne, with Anthony and Kate, we got to see all these other side characters, but they were still at the center of it. And that for me is where season 3 kind of got on my nerves a little bit. And when I do my rewatches, if you've noticed, I tend to fast forward and I go to all of Colin and Penelope's scenes and I cut out a lot of the extra stuff because that's what I want to see. I want to see the carriage scene, which was great, by the way, in season 3. Iconic, legendary. They did that. At least they gave book readers that. So I think why season 4 though is making a case that it could be possibly my favorite since season 2 is because the main couple, Benedict and Sophie, are at the center again. But I mean, you sat there and watched it with me. They're at the center, but they're still also paying mind to the other storylines. And I think the show is doing a good job too, because Sophie, she is, she's not a noble woman. She is basically like a bastard daughter. Are women bastard kids? Like,
that's what they have been saying in the show.
Okay.
I've never heard it that way, but I guess that would.
Her dad had a mistress. That's how she was born. So he calls her like his ward or whatever. But you get a little bit of the books, but like when you're putting on the show, we're getting for the first time to see the backstory of like all the maids that
right.
and I think that is a good addition that the show is doing. All right, what did you want to say real quick?
I agree with you. Like I haven't watched. This is the most I've watched of any of the Bridgerton seasons, I would say, right?
Yeah, other than when I watched season 1, 2, and 3, every time Daniel would walk in the room, someone would be getting it on.
Yep. Okay.
So now you know the show is not only about that.
But I would say I feel like they did do a good job of balancing the B storylines, I guess you would call them, but the A storyline was prevalent and forward in this season in a way that made sense to me, just knowing what I know about the series, where while I think the books are probably even more hyper-focused on the A storylines than the show is. But I understand,
the books are pretty much all Benedict's point of view.
But I understand you have to, to keep a TV show going, you have to kind of break it out a little bit. And so I think it seems like maybe they took some of the criticisms from season 3 and were able to apply that to season 4. And of course, obviously, you've got 4 episodes left for them to ruin that.
Which hopefully they won't. But I thought I really, so that is definitely a positive change that I like, that we're back to kind of the basics of that lead couple. But they did give us a little Colin and Penelope, a very quick little, I think that was just a wink to like, hey, Colin and Penelope are still getting frisky in the carriage. There's still some complaints that I have about it. I could talk about Francesca's stuff till I'm blue in the face. I have made peace with the fact that I won't get to see Michael Sterling because I think it's just clear that Michael was too good in the books. A man can't really be that good in real life, so let's make Michael Michaela. I've made peace with that. That's fine. I think some of the discourse among fans online, this is where I need people to like take a beat. Again, love cheated rivalry. I support all of, same-sex couples. I think why people were so upset is because people liked Michael so much. I was like, oh, well, this is a shock. My thing that annoys me about Francesca's storyline has nothing to do with them making Michael Michaela. I think it makes sense. That can give representation. But it's the way she is with John. Because in the books, she loved John. Spoiler alert, John's going to die. And I think they might go ahead and have it happen this season based on what I'm seeing. But she loved John. She didn't think about Michael at all in that way. And they're kind of making her like already into Michaela. And I don't love that. Because a lot, like, her stories dealt with like second loves, infertility, which they can still do the infertility storyline. But I feel like they're getting her and John's love a little bit incorrect. And I think that's where my beef with that goes. But if you want to change that, fine. I'm really glad that they are giving us Sophie and Benedict. We got like the lake scene from the book, so I like that. I know they're always going to change stuff, but I just felt like because people are still arguing about the whole Francesca thing. And I think it's really annoying when people are like, this is why we're upset. And everyone's like, oh, well, are you homophobic? No. We're fine with, like, I mean, I'm sure some people are. I am fine with Michael being Michaela. I'm annoyed at them disrespecting John. which has nothing to do with, like, it could be Michael, it could be Michaela, who cares? I don't like the way they're going about that because that's not book accurate. And one of my beefs was season 2, by the way. In season 2, which is my favorite season of Bridgerton, my favorite book, they introduced a love triangle between Kate and her sister that did not exist in the book. So sometimes I think TV does that to make it a little dramatic. But another thing that I'll say about what they're doing with Francesca, who I think we are to assume is probably bisexual, sometimes television does not represent bisexuality well. They will often make bisexuals do like the cheating trope, which is super annoying to me. So if she's going to, I hope she doesn't cheat on John, but it's clear she might emotionally be. I don't think that's good either. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And Benedict in the show is canonically bi, and they're sticking with his love story with Sophie, and I think they did well representing bisexuality in that aspect of it. But yeah, I feel like there's always going to be arguments amongst fans, but I feel like sometimes the Bridgerton fan base can be very toxic in their like attitudes towards different things. Can I just say real quick, I knew she was cast, but then just seeing her on screen, Cho Chang from Harry Potter is like the evil stepmother. Like, I remember when they first announced that this actress was cast, we were like, oh, she's going to play Sophie? And then we're like, no, no, no. But it would make sense for how young they marry at that age. The actress is 38 in real life, which I had no idea she was like close to like, my age. But in my brain, Harry Potter is still, those movies came out just a couple years ago. So do with that what you will. But I remember we were all like, oh, is she going to play Sophie? It hit hard that she was going to be the stepmother. I love, one of my favorite things about Bridgerton is, and this is what really drew me in with season 1, is how they take popular current songs and they make it into like an orchestra classical version.
I do have to admit, I am also a mark for that. I do really like any modern music being turned into classical music is very exciting to me. And the one, I know that you've got a Taylor Swift song in this one that you were very excited about and you knew about already, but the one that was earlier before that came on that neither of us could name it until we looked it up.
Where have I heard this song?
Yeah, it was really, really well done.
Never Let You Go by Third Eye Blind. We were trying to figure out, and I was like, I guess I didn't click to me. I mean, I should have known. They used Pitbull for the carriage scene last year. But that song is pretty old.
Yeah.
That Third Eye Blind's on. I don't think Third Eye Blind, Bridgerton.
It activated my millennial brain in a way, but I was like, I know
I'm a
this
sleeper
song.
cell waking up.
I know this song. This song is great, but what is the name of this song? And I could not name it until you got the playlist and looked it up.
Well, as you said, we were all very excited for Enchanted. When I read the book, so I watched the very first season of Bridgerton, ordered the books immediately, read all the books very quickly, and I remember I'm like, when they do Benedict's season, I'm like, they have to use Enchanted. So we all like basically manifested it, and the way they used it was so good. I did cry. I was so excited. I was so happy. I hope they don't flop with the back half. I hope they don't flop. I hope they turn it good. I know a lot of people are very upset with Benedict right now. As a book reader, I keep forgetting that not everybody reads the books. I knew that's how they're going to end it because he basically like asked her at the end. Because remember, she is not from the same social class. He gives this impassionate speech like all the Bridgermen do. And then Benedict thought he ate this line. And he's like, be my mistress. And then she runs off because I don't think he knows, one, her trauma that she has, that she is, was somebody's mistress, his daughter, and runs off. And he's just like, because I think, again, that was a horrible thing that he said, but in his defense, I think he thought that was the only way they could be together. And also Benedict, my dude, imagine our girl Sophie, by the way, because at this point Benedict was still chasing the lady in silver who was Sophie, who had snuck into the ball, but then he sees her as a maid. We have the whole thing. So imagine being so iconic, Sophie, that you're in a love triangle with yourself. Like you're woman, when you're a woman in silver, Cinderella, the maid, and then Benedict. And he was like, it's better than any fantasy I could ever imagine. Be my mistress. So everybody's pretty upset at Benedict right now. I think that I think it's going to work out.
Did they cut the parts of the season pretty much like is the book pretty much kind of like the back half of the book is yet to come? Is that
Yeah,
how?
I think Benedict, I'm hoping they don't do some of what Benedict does in the book, if they're going to make some changes, because he does, some of the book there's some blackmail that he does with Sophie a
I
little
was
bit.
going to ask if he does any raking.
He's a rake. But I think they might soften that a little bit, change that, I hope. I think people still might be just a tad upset, because you have to realize, like, that would be, like, quite the scandal. Now, one more thing before we wrap up the Bridgerton talk, and I have found my people on the internet, my heated rivalry Bridgerton fans, because it is called My Cottage is the name of it, MY space cottage, and of course Benedict would name his cottage My Cottage, and I forgot that they stop and go to the cottage when he's hurt and like he's taking her home after he rescues her from that terrible man. And I'm like, oh, we're going back to the cottage. I was like, is this the year of the cottages? Because we have the cottage from I'm coming to the cottage. We have the cottage from Evil Rivalry and the cottage from Bridgerton. So that was pretty cool. So I need to ask you this, Daniel, as somebody who this is the most Bridgerton you've ever watched. Do you see why I love this show?
Listen, just looking at the show from a production standpoint, like it looks great. I thought, and you'll have to tell me because I'm not sure. Like they had some shots of like old London in this season that I don't remember seeing in previous seasons that I thought looked really really well done. It looks great. The production quality is high.
The music's good.
I get it. If this genre is up your alley, I don't see why this would not be a satisfactory show to you. Because it's got everything that you want it to have.
The only disappointment of part one was that Jonathan Bailey as Anthony Bridgerton was not in part one, but I knew that going in. I had that spoiled for me, and he will return.
It just gives you
part
that
two.
Patient. All right. Okay. Fallout. Season 2, episode 7. There's only one episode left. I feel like we're kind of building up to a couple things here.
If I don't see Cooper / the ghouls, wife and daughter, be let out of their canisters. I don't know what you call them, like their holding pins.
Their cryogenic pods.
Whatever, their pods by the end of this episode, and we're gonna have to drag that out till season 3. I will be irritated.
I think that with one episode to go, he will either let them out or be standing right in front of their pods.
I'm happy that Lucy finally changed clothes.
Lucy changed clothes. She's with her dad. Oh. She's decided to give him a little bit of time to see just how evil he's become.
The eye patch lady that's running the one vault that was in the pods that had woken up. We got more of her backstory. She's from Canada. And they made some jokes about Americans in there that was just... I can't believe they did that.
Timely to say the least. So the ghoul, along with Maximus and Thaddeus, have broken into...
Thaddeus lost his arm. He's still outside.
Broken into the casino where Mr. House is holed up. And only to find... So the ghoul leaves Maximus fighting the super mutants, and we're not quite sure how well that fight's going to go for him. Yeah. And the ghoul ends up in front of this computer screen and meets up. The episode ends with him and Mr. House, a digital version.
All I could think about with the digital version of Mr. House was Ross going and live forever as a machine. From that, hey Janine, we're interfacing.
So it was kind of a lot. This was a good episode, but it was kind of a build episode. It was an episode to get you ready for what's going to come in the final episode. I'm going to be a little disappointed if Macaulay Culkin and the Legionnaire storyline doesn't come back around full circle somehow, because when we left that, when the ghoul, set off that explosion and got those two factions of the Legionnaire to fight each other, he made commentary to this. I'm not sure if I did the right thing there or not. To me, that was,
well, haven't some of those people
casting to the future
been working with Lucy's dad? Or is that the difference?
Well, we've seen a couple of them
Uncle
captured
Rico.
by him because he's been mind controlling
Uncle
them.
Rico was part of the new
California Republic.
New California Republic.
So he's been mind controlling them, but we don't know. So I feel like they might end up showing up in New Vegas somehow and causing chaos somehow. Obviously, I just want to see Macaulay Culkin again.
I had forgotten completely that Macaulay Culkin and Walton Goggins worked together on Gemstones.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah.
he played the adult version
Yeah.
of Baby Billy's son. Like, totally slipped my mind. I was like, oh, they haven't they?
So, but I do think, I think this season's been great, and this is, again, I don't know that I would say it's at the level of the best thing going, but
it's
it
been
is
very
certainly a
entertaining.
show that is we've been happy to have it these last few weeks when kind of getting us through the drought, and it's entertaining and fun.
All right. And we also welcomed back Shrinking Season 3, Episode 1. That's all we got. We got one. I've been so used to shows giving me like at least two episodes to start everything with. But we got the first episode. I don't know what else to say, but please go watch Shrinking. It is on Apple TV. I think that's all we're calling it these days. They like to change their name too. Obviously Harrison Ford's character. What is his name in the show? I'm like blanking. Paul. His Parkinson's is getting even worse. Michael J. Fox guest starred.
Yes. First time he's been in acting in a long time.
Yeah.
Really effective.
Obviously, he has Parkinson's.
Well, the way they're using him in the episode was unexpected, but at the same time, as soon as they revealed that at the end of the episode, which I'm not even going to spoil that, it was like, oh, duh, I should have seen this coming.
Yeah.
And, oh, man, that's perfect. So I'm really excited for the season. This is a great show. This is one of those.
Talk about character development and characterization.
Yes. This is one of those shows that is, again, like, the best thing going is such a hard thing to quantify.
It's very much like Ted Lasso when it comes to you can be laughing 1 second and then on the verge of tears in the next second. I do believe the same people that wrote for Ted Lasso write for this, correct?
Yeah, but the thing is, like with this show, we have a tendency, you and I, well, I say we, I mean you and I have a tendency to see something happen in a show and we'll pause it and go, oh, this bad thing is going to happen because of this.
Yeah.
And this is one of those shows that always skirts our expectations on that because they're moving that, because it's one of those rare shows like a Ted Lasso was.
Yeah.
It is actually trying to be positive and bring a positive attitude in the world. And I appreciate that, even if it is really difficult for me and you to get our heads wrapped around that kind of storytelling.
We thought the big was going to be something completely different than it was. And then it was this my opinion was even more of a gut punch, but it showed how dark our brains had gone though, because we thought that like Jimmy was gonna like do something stupid and
so go watch Shrinking. It's great. If you've got Apple TV, go watch Shrinking.
If you're looking for another show, or if you've already listened to us and watched The Pitt and you need something else to binge and you haven't watched Shrinking yet, you have 2 seasons, and then plus you'll be caught up in time for season 3. All right, so the other show that we have going on is Tell Me Lies, Season 3. I watched episodes 4 and 5. Stephen DeMarco, the villain that you are. I will say in the most recent episode, Season 5, we find out that Stephen got into Yale, and I've never been so happy than to see that Stephen had no one to celebrate getting into Yale with, and that everyone was just like, whatever about it. Bree and Wrigley, I ship them so hard. I know that obviously Bree and Evan go through with the wedding and they get married, blah, 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 and but I need something to happen with Bree and Wrigley. They are so pure. I love them so much. Lucy, I've defended Lucy so much for things that she has done because I feel like a lot of what she does is she acts on emotion, but she needs some mental help. She's playing that evil voicemail Steven sent her and like, doing things as she listens to it, and my homegirl needs some help. So I don't know. We don't know. We don't have season 4 confirmed, and we only have a few more episodes left of season 3, and I'm like, I'm going to need them to make a season 4 because I just don't know how we're going to wrap everything up in time. The only thing that I will be happy with is if Stephen DeMarco goes to prison. And can I just say something that I realized about Stephen DeMarco, the actor, Jackson, I think his name is Jackson White. So I'm sitting there, I always rewatch, I always rewatch the middle episodes, around Christmas and the holidays. So I had just watched the New Year's Eve episode from the middle. It wasn't until I get on TikTok that I realized that Sue's, boyfriend that she had for a while, Aiden, who, ruined hers and Sean's New Year's kiss, that's freaking Steven! Steven! And now that I see it, I'm like, oh my God, they do look alike. But it's just, I think what it is somebody pointing this out. Because I watched Jackson promoting the show in some late night interviews, and we're all like, "Oh my God, is this the first time we've seen Steven smile genuinely?" I think it's because I haven't seen him smile on the show, and he just plays evil so well. But Tell Me Lies is It's just so good. What do you think about it? Every time you watch that, you're just like, oh my lord.
It's a bit much for me, in my opinion. I think I'm not. This doesn't grab me in the same way that like sitting in on even a Bridgerton could possibly do so.
Yes, shows like Heated Rivalry and Bridgerton make you believe in love again, and Tell Me Lies just tears that all apart with its toxicity.
The perfect show to watch in a
Exactly.
January, February timeframe. So,
all right. Well, we do have some other shows that we've watched, including another, talk about toxic, another series on Netflix I watched called His and Hers, that I just like randomly watched. I think Daniel watched a couple episodes of that with me. But I will talk about that in the future. This is your warning, or not your, I guess that sounds toxic. This is your recommendation. Go watch His and Hers on Netflix so you can be involved in the conversation when we discuss that in the future. We have also listened to some longtime listener recommendations because you guys were right on Tell Me Lies. And we have watched all of Ginny and Georgia, and Daniel has watched most of it with me too. And we have a lot to say on that. I will say good job, guys. I feel like you guys know me very well with the recommendations that you send our way. But I really have to pee, so I feel like I need to wrap up my portion of the podcast. And I don't want to make this podcast as long as the month as January has been. So I'm hope out.
Please
Anything
no.
else you want to say, Daniel?
Just last thing, we did get an announcement that makes all of my podcast titling wrong. Ted Lasso season 4 has been announced for this summer. So all of you who have seen our Ted Lasso supercuts and Ted Lasso series finale episodes, here we are. We're getting more Ted Lasso, which, I'm not going to say I'm not excited about, but it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like they could have probably branded this as a different show, but whatever. So listen, thank you everybody for joining us. Stay warm, and we will see you